my dad was totally fine. And within not even 24 hours, I mean, 12 to 24 hours was a completely different human being. And you can line that up with after they gave him the Remdesivir.
I told the doctor a couple of times throughout this whole process that I did not want him on Remdesivir because I had heard bad things about it and I didn't want him on it. He said, sorry, this is a hospital protocol. He has to be on it.
He said, Remdesivir is what we're going to use on your mom. And mom blurted out, no, I've done enough research on it. I do not want Remdesivir. I'd like ivermectin and my usual medications. Well, he never said he refused ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine.
The entirety of the nation's handling of COVID-19, the protocols and mandates that were instated were very inhumane. And it was definitely a impact on our family, because the last time that I got to see my father still alive and breathing and cognizant of the things that he was around was right before he was put on the ventilator and put to sleep. And that was even lucky for us because most people weren't allowed to even visit anybody.
And so, now we're seeing the results of Remdesivir, which they would not admit to. But at this point, I knew that. And so, I was just kind of like, well, we need to throw everything at him because you're basically killing my father.
My opinion, when he walked through that door, all they saw was dollar signs.
Yeah. She's, oh, don't worry about it. Remdesivir is great. This is the protocol that we use and patients are getting better with it. Don't worry about it.
I'm sure it was the protocol. My brother, he also said he thinks it's also the protocol.
Apparently this group specializes in this. I guess this is the group that specializes in murdering patients. They knew the protocol. They gave him diuretics. They said he had water in his lungs. They gave him diuretics like crazy, no replacement of fluids. So obviously he would dehydrate. His numbers were going up, indicating that he was dehydrated.
And did they give him Remdesivir?
They gave him Remdesivir for 5 days. And I know that it's a protocol that they follow because it looks like everybody got the same treatment.
I believe the protocols killed him. Absolutely. He was healthy. He worked out 6 days a week. He ate well. He was very energetic.
The minute they put that in, which was, they didn't even give him food before they slapped that Remdesivir in his veins. I think that was their protocol, and they were at the end of their rope with him, and that he was going down.
I just don't understand what COVID pneumonia is. I've told them plenty of times, can you just treat it like pneumonia? People had pneumonia all the time. Just treat that. I don't understand what COVID pneumonia is, but they had to say that to give her the protocol of Remdesivir.
I would like to see that these protocols are no longer used in the hospitals, that justice will happen, that there's a way to stop this. This is inhumanity, and it's murder is what it is. It's murder happening right within the walls of the hospital from doctors that we thought we would trust, who were told the Hippocratic oath of first do no harm and have ignored it.
And then I asked him, I said, let me go see him. Let me go. I said, he hates being alone. Let us go in and talk to him and he'll respond better. Oh, no, we can't. That's protocol. We can't have any visitors because it's protocol.
And I said, we told him right away, we don't want any of the protocol medications. And the next thing I know, she's putting something in my IV. Said, what? And it made me tingle in weird places in my body. And I was like, what did you just give us? She said, Remdesivir. And I'm just like, no, we said none. Do not give us that. Well, she gave me a dose and my husband a dose and whatever else. She put a couple things in our IV.
They ended all of that and put her on all of the hospital protocol medications, which I did not know till I was just reading her records recently.
He also had texted me, why are they up here killing us? Why are they not giving me water or anything to drink?
And she said, this is the protocol and we will follow it. And you are harming your dad by not giving him the drugs that we're trying to give him.
I believe that the ventilator was turned too high. The Remdesivir that they gave him that we did not know about.
I walked in there anyway through the other side and I said, we refuse Remdesivir 100%. And my husband knew exactly the same thing. We had kept up on it and he told them the same thing. Do not give me Remdesivir. I don't consent to Remdesivir at all, no matter what. And they agreed, no Remdesivir. And every day I'd ask, are you guys giving him Remdesivir? No, we're not giving him Remdesivir. They were lying to me. Day 4 of him in the hospital, he was acting so weird and his vitals started to tank. And I had him on video through our personal phones and I didn't know that there was a nurse in the room and I started screaming, they had better not be giving you Remdesivir. I'm panicking. And the nurse was in the room and she said, they are giving him Remdesivir.
And they said, no, that's not part of our protocol. Because it works. So,
it's just the worst thing in the world to, now that I know that they were just going along with their protocol and not really doing everything that was possible to help him. It's gut-wrenching.
It's my fault. None of it's his fault. It's just truly these sick protocols.
I was not aware of that. And unfortunately, lost my husband. And he was just 52 years old. And while he was on the ventilator, he actually went into cardiac arrest and they had to come in and resuscitate him. And I believe now that a lot of that was contributed from the Remdesivir treatments and probably all the other medications that they were giving him.
I believe protocol killed my sister. Whatever they were told to do, they weren't doing the right thing. And after doing it for so long and killing so many people, I can't believe that they wouldn't have changed protocol.
All we ever heard was protocol. If I ever hear that word again, which I know I will, but
yeah,
I mean, you couldn't talk to these guys on the phone, these doctors, supposed doctors. Everything was by their book and it was going to be that way. And that was it.
We lost so many people to these protocols. My mom was one, her little sister was another at another different hospital. I know that my mom was not the only victim of these death protocols that they put in place. And I hope that her story, our story, can open the minds and the eyes of other people.
It kills me every day to know that the CDC still has this protocol in place. That they're still, to this day, they're still giving people Remdesivir and they're still killing people.
It's such a crazy thing that, these protocols, the doctors weren't allowed to be doctors. They had to follow these protocols so these hospitals could get the money and whatever. I mean, it's just obscene.
I just hope that there's justice, and I hope those that partake to place in this protocol and follow the orders. I hope someday, I hope that I live to see, them pay for what they've done, because I do truly believe that some of the doctors knew exactly what they were doing.
I'm ready for the doors to be blown off on this and people to realize that our loved ones didn't die of COVID. They died because of these terrible protocols. That's how they died.